Good afternoon. Okay. We're just verifying if there are still people signing outside, and then we'll start. There are still people. So can we just maybe give it a minute or so, and then we'll start? Thank you. I think we're going to start now. Charge all my devices once. Yeah, that's what she called me when we were. It's probably when we were. Because then she will just do it. If she did that. No, but she'll do the continents. Okay. All right. Sorry. Good afternoon again. I'm told that we can start. So I'll introduce myself, and then before I go on with the introduction of the whole team, we generally ask to open with a prayer. So if someone is a prayer warrior, we would gently, kindly ask that they open with prayer. If that's not accepted, we can just have a moment of silence, just 1 minute, and then we'll start. So my name is Lupelo Ngalo. I'm from Sunral, and I'm from the department or the division that is referred to as stakeholder relations. Then I will, after the prayer, I will just come in again, and then I will explain today's engagement, why we're here, and how the day is going to unfold. Thank you so much.
I'm Robbie Biena. Someone can translate if they don't understand Afrikaans, but I must pray in Afrikaans because it's my home language. Okay, kom ons gaan in gebed na die Here toe. Hemelse Vader, ons is bly en dankbaar vir die genade wat U vir ons vanmôre dit moontlik gemaak het om hier kan op te kom met verskillende kinders van die Here. Ons wil bid, ag Vader, laat die krag en die gees en die teenwoordigheid van God in die midde met ons vanmiddag in hierdie saal sal wees. Dat ons met gespitste ore sal luister wat die opdrag van hierdie mense aan ons wil oordra. Ag Here, wees in die midde, want die duiwel is 'n sielemoordenaar. Hy praat 'n ander taal, maar as U in die midde is, dan verstaan ons een taal. Ag Here, kom seën tog vanmiddag almal onder die heilige naam, in Jesus' naam. Let's say amen.
Thank you so much, sir. If I got your name right, you said your name is Abraham. Is it Abraham or is it now Abram? Because when I read the Bible, I understand that he was born Abraham, but by the time he died, he was Abram. So thank you so much, sir. All right. So like I said, I'm from the South African National Roads Agency, which is SANRAL for short. And I'm from the office which we call the Western Region. And the Western Region is the office that is responsible for the Northern Cape and the Western Cape. So SANRAL has other 3 regions: Eastern Region, Southern Region, Northern Region. And our head office is in Pretoria. Just a bit about SANRAL. So today, as we had said in our engagement, that we will come and introduce the successful appointed contractor, I do recognize some of the faces. I was there, but you guys didn't see me when we had that engagement 2 months ago. I was sitting somewhere when we had, it was at Town Hall. Yeah, so I was there. I was represented by this gentleman here. So I'm going to introduce the people that I'm with. I'm going to introduce the people that they're with. Those people are going to introduce the people that they're with. But before I do that, there's a gentleman there. I think he's wearing a striped shirt. His name is Luando Mahlasela. Can you stand, sir? So he is also from Sunroll, from the head office. So he's just here to see if I'm doing the right thing. So if I do anything, I make a joke, you laugh so that he can, mark it off. Just so that I get my bonus at the end of the month. All right, so this gentleman next to me, his name is Monet Van Vogel. He's our transformation guy. He's going to be doing the most of the speaking today. And then on my left is Martin Masangwai. He's the project manager of this project. He's also going to be coming up after me just to introduce himself and the rest of his team. But the purpose of the meeting today, just before I hand over, is to introduce the contractor that's been appointed for the project that we've engaged with all the communities when we were here. Was it about 2 months ago, between July and, July, yes. So we had said in every engagement that when the process unfolds, it will end by the appointment of the contractor. At the time, the contractor was under evaluation. And there was a special maintenance project that was going on. And when we had explained that that special maintenance will cease as soon as the new contractor comes in, and it will replace that. But the message we want to communicate today very clearly, what is going to happen from today until you see some actual activity on the project. So we're going to lay that out for you. We're going to explain the process that needs to be followed, but I'm not going to cover that. Mr. Van Vogel is going to cover that in his presentation. And I had said when I was here last time is that Sunroll is new in this area because we've recently taken over the road from the province. I think it was Public Works. And so we understand that different authorities operate differently. And what we had asked then, which I'm still asking now, is you give us an opportunity to explain and take you through our processes so that you better understand how we do business, what is our policies, what is our processes, and what is our rules of engagement, because it will help us to serve you better, and it will also help you to participate better when we understand each other. So the idea is that it's a new roads authority that has taken over the road. We are a national agency. We have certain policies, certain laws, certain regulations that we need to abide by. And we have a responsibility to clarify at any point where our stakeholders are not clear. So I'm going to call Mr. Martin to introduce himself and the rest of his team. And then after that, Monet will come up and do his presentation. Thank you so much. Okay, I thought you guys were going to clap so that my boss think that I'm doing the better job, but now, thank you so much.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Martin Maswanga, and I'm the project manager for this contract. I'm only here to come and introduce the site team, which is the consultant and the contractor. I would like them to come forward so they can introduce themselves, so you know the faces. This is from the consultant.
Good day, everybody. My name is Milton van Heerden, and I'm working for ES Consulting Engineers, and I'm going to be the route manager on this project.
Morning, everybody. I'm Hau Hoti. I'm the assistant of Milton van Heerden, also working for ES Consulting.
Okay, that was the consultant. I think there's one assistant who's not here today. Lerato, ne? Lerato who? Okay, Lerato is not here. He's one of the assistants. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Vuisa Ngconono. I'm the contracts manager for the contractor, which is Ndogo Projects. You may clap now. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Johannes Rakwena. I'm the site agent from Ndogo Projects. Thank you very much.
Okay. The TDGC also was supposed to be here, but unfortunately she couldn't make it from the contractor side. I think I saw some PLC members walking in. Simo, may you please come forward so you can also introduce yourselves and who you're representing?
Good afternoon. My name is Simozana Mdala, LED and Tourism Officer. Zanzabani Municipality, I'm the member of the PLC and Zanzabani Municipality. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Karisam Mongalian, PLC member of Zanzabani.
You can say who you're representing, eh?
Good day, my name is Moses Tapelo Musiane, currently residing in Postmasburg for the past 52 years and still living here. I'm representing the community at large. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm from Groenwater. I'm representing PLC.
Thank you. I think I received an apology from Donovan. He will not be able to join us. Mama Sylvia is also running late. I think if she does come through, then she'll introduce herself maybe before we close. Okay, yeah, I think I'm done.
I think we can clap for Martin. I'll explain why. Maybe you should clap harder because I had a discussion with Martin outside before because Martin speaks very fast. So I said, try to speak very slow. And he did that. So that's why he deserves the round of applause. So I'm also told that the mayor is here. So she's joined. She also graced us with her presence. So that's very good when you see leadership presented. So just before I give to this guy, I just want to explain briefly, very quickly, like Martin would, about what the PLC is, even though it was explained, but I think it's important that we keep just refreshing the memories. So the PLC is the committee. It's called PLC stands for Project Liaison Committee, and that is the committee that represents the stakeholders that are involved in the project, right? And those members are nominated in a transparent public process, which has happened for this town as well as Kgatelopele as well. And part of that PLC, there's a representation from the municipality. I saw Simo was here, so she represents the municipality. The idea is to keep us accountable on all the promises that we've made. So the job of the PLC is to ensure that in the process of appointing labor, in the process of appointing subcontractors, in the process of us rolling out our projects, we are doing it above the law. We are keeping to the commitments that we've made. So this guy is going to mention some of those commitments about the sub-targeting and the localization. And the PLC's job is to ensure that happens. So the PLC works together with what we refer to as a PLO, which is the Project Liaison Officer, which is appointed by the consultants, right? So, and the PLO, together with the PLC, one of their main important job is to develop the database of the labor as well as the subcontracting. And I'm not going to touch too much on that because my colleague will mention that. But I thought it was important we explain that because when we were here, we hadn't formulated the PLC at that time. We had then said we'll come back, and which we did. The PLC was nominated, the PLC was inducted, and those are the members that are being introduced today. And half of this project, as you know, is in Khatalopile, which is in Daniel Scale. So some of those members will be engaging with them tomorrow. So I thought it was important for me that I just clarify that. And before I sit down, I promise you I'm not going to get up again. Before I sit down, this is the end part of our engagement processes. It started with engaging with community. We started with the municipalities, which we call a technical briefing. And then we engage with all the communities and the stakeholders that are across the project. We've come back and we formatted the PLC. And the last phase, or the last step of that phase, was us introducing the contractor, which what will happen now, this guy was going to explain. Mr. Mon, over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, is it late in the afternoon? Okay, so like Lupelo said the last time we were here, we said we'll come back, and now we are back. We just want to give a special welcome to the mayor. Thank you, mayor. And yeah, so the last time we were here, we gave you a rundown of our processes within Sanral. At that time, as Lupelo said, we haven't appointed a contractor yet. We have appointed a contractor now, so now the process has changed. As Lupelo said, this is the end of our engagement, but what you should have added is the end of the engagement for this project. There is other projects planned in the area for future projects. For each project, we do have an engagements. So after this, the two of us on a project level basically step off, and everything should then be hopefully dealt with on the level of the project. That's why we have a PLC. But I will also touch on that as we go through the presentation. So what we have this afternoon, I think you are very fortunate that you are here this afternoon, because this is witness that our processes, or what we've put in place, really works. I'm not saying it's not enough evidence as yet, but Ndoko up until very recently was like the rest of you. They were a SMME that was looking for opportunities on other projects as subcontractor. They were a subcontractor, and today, after how many years is that now? So after 5 years, they've come from a level 4 up until a level 7, and they are the main contractor now. So if you want any proof that what we are doing seems to work, then Ndoko is that proof. There's other companies as well. There's they might not have jobs on our project. There's BCB Solutions. There is Expedor, which is a company from Richmond in the Northern Cape. There is PJO, Onderhouddienste, Damien's Construction. They all started out as subcontractors. So if you endeavor or you want to be a main contractor, then you can see that the system works. Okay, so the project, as we said the last time as well, there's a project number. So that's just a number that we use as a filing number, as a communication number. Each project has a unique number. This project includes a whole lot of routes, so it starts with an X. if it's just the N2 or just the N1 or something like that, then the number will also indicate where the project is. So it will be N2005 and things like that. But for this one, because there's separate routes and different routes, it's got an X in front of it. And the description is, I'm not going to read it all, but it's basically the routine road maintenance on the R385, the R, and the R25 from Daniel Scale to Postmasburg, and then from Postmasburg to the N14 intersection on the R25, and then on the the R31 to the border of the two municipalities. The project duration, I think it's the first time that we also have a 5-year project that we award. I might be, I might not be correct, because Ndoko got another project up in Kuruman, and I think that one is also 16 months. I think it was awarded at the same time. Yeah, so those are the first ones that we brought out at 60 months. Previously it was 36 months, but you know, you think 36 months is a long time, but it takes about a year and a half for everybody to get up to steam, and especially if it's new contractors and so on, to know the system and everybody feels comfortable, and then just as everything is start running smoothly, there's another procurement that kicks in, and you know, so to get the continuity right and to protect our asset, we've decided to make it 60 months, and it also gives the SMMEs that's going to work there a bit of more time on these projects. So the start date was the 1st of September, and the project end date for now is the 31st of August 2029. The main contractors being introduced is Ndoko. The consulting engineers is ES Consulting with Milton. I think Milton has forgotten how long he's been involved with routine road maintenance. So we've got a very good route management team, and yeah, I'm sure it will be a success. And then the contract value, that's the award value. It's about 129 million over 5 years, but that might not be the final contract value, because as you know, RRM, it doesn't mean that you will do everything that's there. It's got different ones. It might be more, it might be less at the end of the 5 years. Most of the time it's a bit less, because obviously we put some estimate and some extra works in there that we might not do over the 5 years. Then the project's about 178 kilometers long. The minimum percentage to sublet, so 50% of the final contract value needs to be sublet to target enterprises. And there's a reason I put final contract value in bold, so that, as I said, the award value is 129. That might, in most cases, I can almost guarantee you it will not be the final contract value. The final contract value will be something different, and it's 50% of the final contract value that must be sublet to target enterprises. So we will only pay the contractor for the work that is done. So at the end of that contract, if they've done 127 million, that will be the final contract value. If they've done 130 million, that will be the final contract value. Okay, does everybody understand the final contract value? Okay, so don't look at the 129. We will look at the final one when we're done. Then the minimum percentage for CIDBs, 1s and 2s, is 15% of the final contract value. So that will be 15% of the 50%. Okay? So I've written it a bit wrong there, I see now. So it's 15% of the 50%, not of the final contract value. And the duration there is 18 months. And then for the 3s and the 4s, it's 25% of the 50% must be sublet to 3s and 4s, and there's penalties involved in all of this if they don't make it, which we will measure at the end. And the duration for 3, 4s, and 5s is 36 months, because they're a bit bigger and they can handle a bit more or higher value contracts. And the C1s and up until the C2s, it's only about $1 million that you can do, but because it's RRM, you can take it over years there. And then the contractor is currently in mobilization period. I will cover that as well, and then we have introduced the PLC members as well. So during the mobilization period, so the contractor, although they're on site, they're still busy mobilizing, putting stuff in place. So for the first 6 months, the contractor is basically responsible to maintain the road themselves. It doesn't mean that there will be less now available for the SMMEs, as the 50% needs to be sublet. That's a contractual requirement. So the 50% will stay there, irrespective of how many work the contractor do himself. They must spend 50% on SMMEs. So during this time, they established they should have done their site personnel already. Meneer, where's your site office? Okay. So the site office is here in Postmasburg. They might, over time, also maybe have a smaller place where they can just keep some materials and things like that. But the main office, the site office where Milton and the site agent is here in Postmasburg. And then, as Martin says, the TGDC is the Targeted Group Development Coordinator, or the mentor, and that is the person that you will work closely with. So that is the person that will assist the SMMEs, and that's the person that needs to guide the SMMEs through this, through the time on site. Before that, and also after the awards has been made, they are there to assist you. They must establish an SMME desk, so it won't necessarily be a special desk. It will just be where the Targeted Group Development Coordinator can make themselves available. If you need a computer and things like that, you can also go there, and that will normally be at the contractor's office as well. And then I think most importantly is to determine the extent of the works and the requirements, and then they need to compile a labor database and a targeted enterprise database that is done with the help of the PLO and the PLC. So when it comes to the targeted enterprise database, it's not a database to say this is the people that can tender and the other people that's not on the database cannot tender. It's to see what is available in the immediate areas, and also as a means of communication, so that we don't need to phone everybody individually. We can maybe send or the contractor can maybe send out a bulk email or a bulk SMS and things like that, so that everybody is aware of packages that's becoming available, or even after the awards, they tend to keep also a WhatsApp groups to just communicate with everybody on site. So that's the reason for the database. So once we know what's in the area, once we know what the works is about, we can then compile what we call the CPG plan of the contractor participation goal. So that's also the plan that will be discussed with the PLC, because in that plan they will tell us which packages they think they're going to advertise, what the functionality criteria is going to be, and things like that. So all of that happens in the 6 months. They also have to advertise the packages, and they have to evaluate the packages, and then also award the tender packages. So that happens within the first 6 months. It should happen. It does happen from time to time that because of whatever reasons, they might not award packages within that 6 months. But like I said, there's penalties for that, and the 50% will stay there. So hopefully, after 6 months, we will have the SMME packages awarded. At the moment, we obviously don't know how many packages that will be. That will come out in the CPG plan, discussions with the PLO, PLC, and the PLC will need to report that back to the constituencies. So the typical tender processes, what we normally ask from the contractor. From Sanral's side, we do not instruct the contractor which packages they must put out to tender. When they put their tender together, they had in their mind what they're going to do themselves, 50% of that, and which works they're going to subcontract. There is certain works that we want the contractor to keep for himself, and if they want to subcontract that, they need to get permission from the employer. So that's things like responding to emergencies. It has happened that was subcontracted, and then when there's an emergency or a big accident on site, then the SMME doesn't have, the bakkie is gone to some other place, or there's no fuel and things like that. So that we like to keep with the main contractor, the patrolling of the route. They have to drive it once a day to check what needs to be done. That's the whole 180 kilometers. So in a day they drive 360 kilometers. And they need certain minor jobs like fixing potholes and things that they need to do. So that also we ask that retains with the main contractor, and then obviously the traveling public, also that they take responsibility for the patching, but they can, if they find the right subcontractors, they can also subcontract that out through the tender packages. But we also learned over the years that we want it to be a basket of tasks instead of just one task, so that there's continuity throughout the month. Especially for C1s and 2s. Because what happens is they might be picking up litter, but that's not every day. Then you might get a a guardrails package, but nobody drives into the guardrails, so you don't have any work. So we try to make packages so that it contains a little bit of everything. And then obviously the packages for the 3, 4s, and 5s are higher than the 1s and 2s, so most of the time they will look at a certain section of the road of those tasks that the main contractor has kept for under their control. And then all subcontracting must follow the stipulated process. So that is meaning that, you know, the contractor, if he subcontracts any work, even from his 50%, it needs to follow the process of being advertised and all those type of things. So there will be then a clarification meeting that is compulsory. So if you want to tender, you will have to turn up at that clarification meeting. There might be more than one, depending where the majority of the works are. And normally that is a time that you need to be there. Please be on time, because that is the tender rules. We're following government tender rules, so if you come late, you can join the meeting, but it will be noted that you were late and your tender might be found responsive. We are also here to try and not try to teach you. If you want to become a contractor that tenders on main packages, mainly even for the municipality, not necessarily for us, the time is important that you be there on time. Then, as I said, we follow government principles and it's advertised. That will be discussed with the PLC. Where do we advertise? What newspapers? Maybe even radio stations. But also, we, like I've said in the engagement we had before, we have a tender advert portal, so it must also be advertised there. Again, the time, I've had people that phone me, I don't know, maybe Lupelo has had as well, to say, I was only 5 minutes late and they didn't want to, they accepted my tender, but they wrote there that I was late. You were 5 minutes late. Because that's also an indication of what can I expect from you when you need to finish a job on time. So if there's a time, please stick to that time. Then normally during the clarification meeting, So normally during the clarification meeting, there will be a little bit of tender training provided as well. So the main contractor will take you through the document that will normally be the targeted group development coordinator and point out certain things that you must fill in. Fraud and corruption will not be tolerated. If we found out about it, there's a what do you call this thing? You have to declare, there's a declaration that you have to fill out in the tender document with regards to fraud and corruption. So there you say that you've not unduly influenced the tender process. And then we also need owner involvement. So by that I mean, it's very important for us that the owner of the business is involved. I'm not saying that we want to see him out there in the sun every day. That would be number one. But we do understand that you might be busy with other things. But we would like to see people from this area that benefits, and not somebody that sits somewhere else and there's just somebody here that looks after the work for us. That is counter to what we are trying to establish. And then please take note that when it comes to the tender stage, you must pay the rates as specified by the Bargaining Council of the Civil Engineering Industry. Not EPWP rates, or the rate that the municipality pays, or the rate that the province has. It must be Bargaining Council of the Civil Engineering Industry rates. It's a high rate, but that's why when you tender, you put that rate, plus obviously a markup for your labor. Why is it not changing now? Okay. So then, there's a eligibility. You must be registered with CIDB and active at the close of tender. If you've paid, you can put that in and say, okay, my membership was suspended, but I've paid it now, so, I wasn't active, but it will be activated. And then obviously by the time that the tender has been awarded, you must be active. You must be registered on the Central Supplier Database, the CSD. You must be an EME or a QSE, and at least 51% black owned. And then there's a lot of forms in the document. You must, some of them, or all of them, you must complete, you must sign them, and you must submit all the required documents that was asked for. Sometimes people don't sign declarations, and it is important that you do. Then there's functionality criteria. So with the functionality criteria, we try to favor locality. But this is something that will be agreed in a PLC meeting, where what's the localities for certain packages. But normally there you get a point out of 60. And then your CIDB grading, you will get a point out of 30. And designated groups, which are people with disability, youth, women, and military veterans, can get a maximum of 10 points. And then for you to go on to the second, to go further in the process, you need to get 75 points out of 100. So what we're trying to achieve here is locality, so that people from Cape Town or Free State don't come and tender here. They can still come and tender, but with the functionality, they won't be able to make it in most cases, or in all cases. And then with the CIDB grading is, if it's a package for ones and twos, it will be difficult for a 3, 4, 5 to also tender on those packages. And then we are promoting government objectives. So we give 5 points, but you can get a maximum of 10 points if you are a youth-owned company, woman-owned company, company owned by people with disabilities, or military veterans. And then we go to price and preference, where you get 80% for price, and then a score out of 20% for BEE. And then after that, there's normally, the PMT will agree on a benchmark price for the specific tenders. And then the highest point scoring tenderer will be assessed against that benchmark price. And we normally work on 10% plus and 10% minus. So that's basically the window that you must be in. If your price is more than 10%, the contractor can negotiate with you to get the price within the 10% window. If you're not willing to come down to in the 10% window, they can then move on to the next tenderer. If they can't find anybody that's interested, then it will be put out to retender again. And then for those prices that's below 10%, because we don't want people to work on our network and then, after they finish, they're worse off than when they started with us. That is not the intention. We want you to grow. So if it's minus 10%, there will also be a consultation process with yourself to find out what was your thinking behind tendering. And then the contractor with the consultant will determine if that rate is feasible. And if it's deemed not to be feasible, then you can be disqualified. So make sure that when you tender proper rates. A bag of cement is about 120 rand, I think, a pocket. If you tell me you're going to buy it for 80 rand, that's fine, but I'm going to ask, or not me, but the site guys will ask, where are you getting it for 80? Or you might have old cement. If you can't answer them properly, then obviously you won't be able, I'm just making a quick example here, you won't be able to supply cement if you have to buy it for 120 and then we give you 80 but you buy it for 120. Because that's what it means when you price it low, is that you are subsidizing the work that you were supposed to get paid for. So proper rates, please. A lot of time I've spoken to guys that comes in with low rates, and their idea was, if I get my foot in, then I'm in. Now, unfortunately, we can't work like that. And then also things that will come out in the tender process, but the contractor will also provide independent equipped office to be used by the subcontractors. So things that will happen after the award, so if you're successful, is there will be your Occupational Health and Safety Act requirements. So normally you have to submit a health and safety file. Please, before you go and spend a lot of money for these people that claim to can do your health and safety file, speak to the targeted group development coordinator. There will be retention money deducted. It's normally 5% of the works, up to, for the C1s and 2s, it's 25,000. And for the 3s and higher, it's 50,000. And that normally gets paid out at the end of your contract. And then we require that subcontractors must be paid within 14 days of submission of their statement. And obviously the work needs to be certified as well. You can't just give in a statement that's not been certified. And then ensure your work is certified on an ongoing basis. Because if you don't do something today, you try and get it signed off so that you don't have a heap of things at the end of the month and some of it you forgot and things like that. And then that's why I say we want owner involvement, because if there's measurements and certificates and things to be done, you need to do it with the main contractor so that we avoid disputes later on. And then depending on your base price, there will be escalation applicable, because 18 months and 36 months is considered longer term projects. And then work with the targeted group development coordinator, and they will be able to help you with planning your work properly and some problems that you might have. And then also poor quality and workmanship. Please look at that, because we're working with people's lives on the roads. So we need to make sure that it's of a high quality and good workmanship as well. And then also payment of labor. The people that's going to work for you, if you're successful as a SMME, is a non-negotiable. I have people phoning me saying that the contractor hasn't paid them, and then I get calls from laborers saying that that contractor has not paid them. I know it can be a knock-on effect, but sometimes he's been paid already, but he's still not paid his labor. So the labor gets paid first, please. And then the disputes. Like I said before, we want disputes to be sorted out on a site level, because you're going to phone me, you're going to send me an email, or you're going to send an email to Lupelo. We go right back to the start. Now this week I'm 2 weeks out of office. I'm on the road. I might see the emails, but I might not respond to them immediately. So now your issue is lying in my mailbox for 2 weeks. After that, I go back to the site to find out. They also take another week to come back to me to tell me what the issue is related to. And then the contractor says, oh, no, it's fine, I'll sort it out. Where if you went there first, it could have been sorted out at the same time. So please, disputes first to the contractor here on site. Then to the site management team. If the contractor can't seem to help you, that's now with Milton included. If you still feel that your dispute has not been resolved, then bring it up with the PLO and the PLC, and it can be discussed in the PLC meeting. And normally about that time, the dispute is normally sorted. If not, you can then go to Martin, who's the project manager, and with him and the engineer and the SMT then forms the project management team, or the PMT. And if it's still not resolved, then you can come to the regional office. I'm not saying you can't come to the regional office, but I'm just saying if you come there directly, it might take much longer. Sometimes it's really only an issue that the contractor could have sorted out there and then. It happens very often. I think that's it. Lupelo. No flash photography, please.
Thank you so much. I hope that the presentation will really help, and I do want to emphasize the last point. It is important that the disputes get resolved in a speedily manner, and our experience has taught us to develop exactly the slide that he just presented now. It really assists when you deal with the main contractor directly, and one of the reasons we keep saying that is that the contract is between the main contractor and the subcontractor. So some of the time, it's not even the issue that Sunroll can involve themselves with. It's the issue between the two parties that we are not party to the agreement. It's things that the two entities have agreed between the two, or between two of them. But we're not saying that we're not going to try and assist where we can, but we're saying it is very important that you deal with the main contractor. And I think in this project, I'm going to put him under the spotlight. He understands, he's been a subcontractor. this main contractor has been a subcontractor. So hopefully the lessons learned, they always say, you treat people how you wish you were treated. So that's basically one of the reasons why we have, high hopes that because you understand the struggle, you will try and make it better for the other guys. But also, importantly, not for the other guys, they must understand that he understands the tricks because he's been there. So if you come with the tricks of being a SMME, he did the same. So he practically wrote the book. So what I'm getting at with this is the plea to work together instead of trying to fight with one another. Let's work together. Let's resolve the issues. When it gets to us, that's why we always go back to the team. Have you guys done what you were supposed to do? Did you investigate it? Did Milton know about it? What did he do? So we compile all of those all the investigations, and then we resolve the issue. The idea is not to have a fight. The idea is to resolve the issues. So thank you so much for coming to us and listening to us. Really, the idea of today was for us to share what my colleague has just shared. But I am, however, going to ask for clarification, points of clarifications, and maybe some comments. It was quite a presentation. There might be something that people want clarity on, and then so that while he's still here, so he can then elaborate on the things that he has mentioned. I've seen a lot of click as he was presenting. So this is the rule. Because I'm right-handed, I'm going to start with the people on the left. So we're going to start on this side. If you have a point of clarity or a comment related to the presentation, you're going to raise your hand. I'm going to take up to 3, and then we respond, and then I close the left chapter, we open the right chapter, and we do the same. When we're done, I'm going to ask the mayor to do the vote of thanks, and that would be the conclusion of our engagement. So is there somebody with a mic, Sam? Okay, so I have somebody with a mic. I'm looking at hands. Number 1, number 2. So Sam, you can, number 3. So Sam, you can run to number 1. Can I kindly ask that you just introduce yourself and tell us your name, and then you can proceed with your comment or question. No.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah? Good afternoon. The name is Tebogo Clement Khumong from Khumong Holdings. Just want to check if the presentation would be shared, as there is valuable information contained in it. And if not, I'll perhaps plead that it should be shared, because it will just expedite the process in terms of clarifying other issues. And then the second question would be, in terms of the current database, following the intended upcoming opportunities, will they also be disseminated with the very same database that will be created from the attendance list today? Thank you.
Thank you. Did you get the second question? Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. You may go, Master. Sam, this short guy.
Thank you. I'm Brennan Adams, and I'm from Tsansabana Yarona Projects. So I just need to find clarity with regards to the different CIDB status. If I'm on a 1, will there be then, or can I move then in between? Maybe because if I'm a 1, then I will fall under 1 and 2. Can I then move then maybe from 2 into the next 1 to 3? Because the tender value normally determine the movement of the various CIDB status. Will that be allowable then under this particular project? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I've got a very big head, so I'm able to hold all of this. Just tell me when you are not hoping.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm Sanele, I'm just a contractor. I just need clarification on the bargaining council. Said it's have to be with civil engineering, not the one who works with Department of Works and the other ones. I don't know what's the difference, because the one bargaining council I had before the certificates was the one from BCCI, but works with Public Works, with the civil engineering. I'm not sure about that. And second question is, in terms of the CIDP, I'm not clear, the CE, or you also want the EM, what you call? EM and QSE. Can you clarify on that? Because CE, it's a different grade, chemical engineering, and EME and QSE, it's a different. You can just clarify on that, please.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, I didn't. There it is. Okay. Right. Okay, for the gentleman that asked about, we can share the presentation. Also, you can look at our website, www.nra.co.za. And then there's a link there to the transformation portal, which I showed you in the first engagement we have. So there you will find different sorts of information. So the stuff that I shared today all comes from our documents. But we will share this one as well. But just remember, if this differs from the document, then the document will supersede what I've said here. What is the other question about this database today? Yeah. What was the other one, sir? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that will form the basis, but through the PLC and the site guys, they will also compile another database, because obviously everybody might not be here today. And there's also SMMEs in Danielskale and Lime Acres and Groenwater that might not have been able to be here today. Okay, in terms of the CIDB, I didn't quite understand what you mean. You mean if your CIDB gets higher? Okay. Let me say something. So, if there is a round of tenders that go out, I should have put that on the presentation because that's important. If there's a round of tenders that go out, each company will only be able to get one. If you're done with that one, you can get another one. But with any round, so while you're busy working, you can only get one package. So that's our way of trying to distribute the work. Because if there's 10 packages and one person gets 10, then we have distribute nothing. So in terms of if you in this round, say you in this round you're a 1 or a 2, and then you go up to a 3 or a 4, then in the next round you can tender a 3 or a 4. But what we do is if you're a 1, you can tender a grade higher. So you can tender up to 1 million instead of just 500,000 or whatever it is now. Does it answer your question? Bargaining council? Yeah. The bargaining council is the... Is it forward? The one that you've said, which is the BCCEI. The bargaining council for the civil engineering industry. And then, forward. Yeah, so CIDB is obviously, you know, the grades of the CIDB, which is, so on the RRMs, we work with CE, which is civil engineering. So no building. If there is a science project that comes out, maybe there will be SK. If there's certain fencing, you can go to the fencing one, which I forgot, but most of the time CA, not GB, because we don't build anything for general building. It must be civil engineering. And then the EME is exempted micro enterprises. Okay, so that's companies that has a turnover of less than 3 million. Remember, we are construction, so we fall under the amended construction sector codes. The general codes is less than 10 million. If you had a turnover less than 10 million, you are an EME. But for civil engineering, it's less than 3 million. And then for a QSE, is a qualifying small enterprise. Those are companies that, most companies are there, they have done work, turnover was less than 50%. 50 million in a given year. So it's got nothing to do with your CIDB. So if you're a generic company, then obviously you need to play in the top league. If you're an EME and a QSE and 51% black owned, then you can be with the SMMEs. But generic companies are considered main contractors or first tier contractors. Was that it?
Thank you. Sorry.
There's just a follow-up question, yeah.
Is it the original question or is it a follow-up on what he has asked?
No, a follow-up on what the gentleman just indicated. It's a matter of consent, so I need clarity on that one.
Okay, I will allow it, but the reason I'm asking, I would rather we give everybody an opportunity and then he come back. But since you're saying it's related, I'll allow it.
No, thank you. I think I'm a bit concerned with what my colleague has indicated. It becomes problematic if you say it might be probable that the information that will share perhaps as per the presentation with what is on the document on the portal can slightly differ. Because now it raises legal technicalities in terms of authenticity, in terms of a due diligence process. That's one. Secondly, it will also mean that we are not being totally honest and open with each other in terms of our dealings, and it becomes a problem and questionable. So I'm a bit offset by that, to say the honest truth. So I'll perhaps request the gentleman or the team maybe to rectify that in terms of how it's put, because for me it's a given consent. It questions credibility.
Okay, so what I mean by that is, there can be a mistake on the slides. So the slides is not a legal document like a contract document. So when you go to tender, you stick to what is in the contract document, irrespective of what I might have said on the slides, because legislation changes, so in the meantime it might have changed. So I might have said the threshold is 80%, 20%. Now the new public procurement bill comes out, they say, but now it's 70, 30%. So what I mean by that is that the document is the overriding authority that you're going to complete, not my slide. So the information there is, as far as I have tried, it's correct. But if there is a difference between this and the document, the tender document, which is a legal document, then that is the document that will be used, not my slides. So I'm not saying that I'm purposely misleading you, but the legal document is the tender document, and that is the document that will override any other document that you might have seen. The one that you've got in your hand will be your document, and that will be the legal document.
Thank you. If there's still going to be a conversation, I would ask that we take it after we've allowed everyone else to ask a question. I think it's important to deal with these issues so that we are all satisfied, but I also think it's important that we allow everyone else an opportunity to ask. So I'm going to take this side now. I'll come back to this side. 3 hands from this side. 1. Oh, okay. It's not hand. All right. Yes. 1. So I'm going to take 3 hands now. So there's 1. I just need 2 more hands. If not, you don't have to ask a question. All right. Yes, Sam, you can hand over the mic.
Thank you, sir. My concern is only one. The contractor is not here, sir, to answer our question. So I think we are wasting our time to be here. The relevant person is not here. Sensual people are busy working there.
Unfortunately...
End of this month, they're wasting. Sorry, sir. We are here for a job, not to come and talk to you like we're changing what. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, maybe you came in a bit later because the main contractor is sitting here in front. So the main contractor is represented. So the main contractor is in the room. I'm going to come back to you, sir. There's a question there. So, okay, as my colleague has explained, and previously we've explained, the first 6 months, when there was a mobilization slide, it does say exactly what's going to happen. It gives the start date, so we can start from today working towards all the things that need to happen. So within the first 6 months, our contract requires that the main contractor will do any work that is required now until they put up packages, which will be within the first 6 months. So the advertising of tenders is going to be in the next 6 months, once all of those things that are listed there have been concluded. That's why we asked for this mobilization period to allow the main contractor to put out tech packages. So the PLC will continue to have meetings. So the PLO will be able to share any updates. As my colleague has said, when we advertise on the local newspaper, notice board, so that information will be shared. So that's so I think that deals with that question. So we won't have any, like I said, this is our last meeting. We won't have any other meeting now. The next meeting will be a clarification meeting. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. What time?
Good day, everyone. My name is Moshe from MRT Foundation. I just want to ask because of there's 2 municipalities joining together for this project. So if maybe you are from Zanzabani municipality and there's job advertised in Kajelope, are you able to advertise, are you to apply for that job, or maybe you will only be able to apply where you are coming from, like in your own municipality?
Okay, so like I said before as well, that type of discussions will happen in the PLC, but normally there's nothing stopping, there shouldn't be anything stopping anybody that wants to price. Okay, that it's open tenders, so open means anybody can enter. What will stop people from going through to the evaluation stage, for instance, is the functionality criteria. So in the functionality criteria, it will say, okay, that the locality will be, I don't know, the local municipality, and then anybody from outside the local municipality might not be able to go through to the next stage. So that's a discussion that must still happen, With the PLC, as we go through the process of establishing what the functionality criteria, not us because I won't be part of that, but as the contractor and the PLC discuss what it is. But also remember that it might be that, I don't know how much of the road sits where, but the road might not be split in the middle between the municipalities. So certain part, you might only have 20 or 30% or whatever, but normally we try and spread as much opportunities as there is to make it possible. And then you must also remember there's future projects that will be coming out here as well. So we try to create as much opportunities as we can within a certain area. But like I say, that discussion will happen at the PLC level. It's normally a very robust discussion, and I think it should be. And then they will determine what the functionality criteria is for that. But normally it's about locality. You can see it carries 60, and then CIDB and designated groups. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I think we're gonna close. Before that, I thought Mone, you would have put my email address and your email address there, so that if there are still things that are not clear in terms of the process, that you can contact us. But in terms of the project, as my colleague has said, it goes through the project management team. But in terms of the things like policy, processes, you can still contact us. So we'll make sure that, I think in the previous presentation, or we'll just update this presentation with our email addresses, and then we'll send it up. Please write your email address on the attendance register, then we will send the presentation on that with our contact details, and so that you are able to continue the conversation. But like we said, once we get to construction at project level, that process that was explained then is effective, that takes effect. So thank you so much for coming to listen to us, and thank you so much for your kindness, for being kind and allow us to speak and explain our processes. I'm going to ask the mayor just to say the vote of thanks, then close the meeting, and may you please have a good day and a very good week ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Allow me first to apologize for late coming and also to the SMMEs. I don't know why are you giving me to do the vote of thanks. It seems you want to capture me. but I don't want anything. The SMMEs knows that. No, it's on a light note. Thank you very much to the team of Sanral. We really appreciate the processes that you present today. And I can hear the concerns from some of the SMMEs on the presentations. As I mentioned it in the community engagement specific in Ward 2, Newtown area, there was a lot of concerns. Some of our projects, but the processes were present here, and then all your presentations is done there on the screen, but the implementation part sometimes, and that's the experience that our SMMEs have. Nice presentations, when it comes to the implementation, then things change. So I think it's part of the concerns from the SMMEs. But I can also applaud you on your due dates, the dates that you set out. Please keep to those dates that you present to our SMMEs here today. We really appreciate it. And on the issue, I think Mr. Moshe raised the issue of the two municipalities, because he's in the middle of the two municipalities in Groenwater. And maybe that's the question from Mr. Moshe there. Can he Weitsbeen staan? Katelopele and Sansaban. I don't know. I see some of the SMMEs from Katelopele. I don't know where's your mayor today, but I'm here. No, I'm joking. But thank you very much. And really, team from Sandral, project manager, keep to the presentations. We will really appreciate it. And I know that the SMM is. Why are you undermining me there on the backside? Is it Katelopele people? Oh, it's Sandral. Please. Je moet nie onze SMM is opstandig kom maak hierso nie, asseblief, please. Yeah. No, we really appreciate these presentations, and also to our PLC, our PLO. Where's the PLO? I was late. Is it outside? To our PLC members, you are elected or nominated by this community. Chairperson of the PLC, the chairperson, please, let's be transparent, we be transparent, openness, and what is presented here today. Please keep up the good work, and let's give each and every SMME, those who apply to the requirements, give them the opportunity. There's requirements, there's procedures, keep to it. As we know that unemployment, we have a high rate of unemployment in our municipality. So let's try our utmost best to bring up and give the opportunity to our SMMEs. There's other projects currently in this municipality. And there's a lot of some unhappiness, not consider our local, especially our local SMMEs in this municipality. Please, PLC members, look after our SMMEs. I will play my oversight role as the mayor of Sansaban, not saying that I want to go and give you a mandate or saying that you must take this SMME or that one, but let's give each and every SMME that opportunity based on the requirements that that Sandra give to us. But nevertheless, thank you very much. We really appreciate this presentation, and let's keep what you present here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayor. That concludes.
Yes, we clarify.
Yeah, but
Already Okay. So, what I said was to make the opportunities more, or to create more opportunities. If you on this project, you've tendered and you get awarded a package, then we're not going to award another package on this project. You can then tender on any other project that's not this project, and you can be awarded another package on that project. But while you're busy with the package on this project, you won't be awarded another package until you have concluded that package. So if you're a 1 or a 2 and you've worked for 18 months, and there's another package available, then you can be awarded that package, but not until you've completed the first package. Yes? Huh? Yeah.